I've always done things without knowing. It's hard for me to focus, to concentrate. I'm hyperactive, impulsive, and find it difficult to follow instructions. If you don't grab my interest in the first 3 seconds of the conversation, it will be hard for me to pay attention to you. That's why I've rarely understood things perfectly, almost always halfway.
¿Y qué tú sabes de los leones? Algo. ¿Qué tienes?
When I was little, I was told I had attention deficit. I'm one of those people who put shaving cream on their toothbrush. After going to 5 different schools and somehow graduating, I went on to study art. It was in art school where, without realizing it, I came up with the name of the band with which I traveled the world. Together with my brother, I started a band. Without any business knowledge, I got the band some business, and in less than a year, we had already won 3 Grammys. In total, I've won 25. Being impulsive, I managed to become a reflection of all that affected me as an artist. Speaking my mind without much thinking got me into a lot of trouble.
El cantante de Calle 13 que decía en una de sus remeras también que el presidente colombiano era un paramilitar.
Es un bufón y un lumpen.
I was censored in my own country. I couldn't perform there for almost 4 years. I wasn't played on the radio, and I received death threats. I wasn't selling records, but somehow my audience kept growing. I made many impulsive decisions, like leaving my band of 10 years when we were at our peak so I could start from scratch. I wanted to make music in different parts of the world because I needed the voices of the world to tell their own story. I remember that 4 years ago I had taken a DNA test to find out where my ancestors came from. To begin my journey, I analyzed my test results and picked those countries I least expected to have in my blood. I had found a map where ethnicities, customs, and languages came together without any problem. We are microscopically invisible relative to the history of time, but we are part of one single map, of one great moment, and within the great moments, we are all equally small. I decided to start my journey in the coldest region, right on the border with Mongolia, Tuva. 6% of the blood that runs through my veins is Tuvan.
Mình toán chữ Yên. Biz doğalargur. Çünkü biz Amerikan'a aytkan kiylerinin birezi biz. Am біздің ежібіз egdik берген bizce. Ol kiyinin genleri, min genyerim.
Таған одымның ұлы күжін хайраққан. Келген ажыбыздың подалған подалдары шуты подарасын, бақ жаңа жүрсін, 2 жеп ергетін хайраққан. Uzun oru ajlağayının şuptu olsa oru akçorsun
I'm here, in the center of Asia. Of all the places around the globe, this one is the furthest from the ocean. From here, the Tuvan nomads crossed the Bering Strait on foot to inhabit America, and I made it here to write.
대전이 멤버들. 이제 수학이나 조르리엔데 보통은 보이트스래 쪽 보이트스 도두엔 대전이 멤버들 조르.
I write to become someone else, so that no one can find me, so that even I can't recognize myself. When I become that other person, I can't fail, I can't lose, I can't lie. I shoot with precision, pressing on as calmly as a hunter.
Bularga törü yerler olur. Hanay xırağın nağa östürər. Indi yerlerde bu gödek borjol yerlerde bu bularga östürər. Deski saati gidi.
Inspiration is like a deer. You need to be patient and to be ready when she appears.
Indi tıqqı koyucular gerek. Bir de anda botu kuş damır projek. Onun sonunda itu anda bu oğuk boğulu konca gideceğin. Geydik boğuru. Onun boyutu suya kalacağız. Kuş damır da şırarak boğuru çokla. Anca gidecek. Tecrübe değil. Kravata dimay. Hostonya.
When I'm unable to find her, I have to change my position, move to a different spot against the wind so she can't detect my scent. I have to wait patiently, hours, days, weeks, months, until I have her in front of me in a clear side view. I make sure she's within range in order to get a clean shot to the heart.
Бүгүм дээргеле колдуула утказында болсам көн кишинин болсам эштики делегейинин болсо эштики сага сеткилдин болсо көнүн дейинлер эткен сөз биле колдуула ынды тутуш.
With this progression, only can we use another instrument.
Our grandfathers, they live very close to nature, imitating animal sounds.
Music is bad right now. It's damaging every music.
Yeah.
And the radio is very bad.
We are for live music, folk music, real music.
But what we're doing is what, when I was a kid, I didn't like milk. You know milk?
Yes.
So my mom put a little bit of chocolate, and then she put less, and then less, till I didn't need the chocolate to drink the milk.
I see.
So we're doing that.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Sounds have to be born and die every day in order for music to evolve. There is no such thing as pure music. Even the sound of our own breath is part of that melody we hear at the end. Music is full of blood, and that blood is also nomadic because it runs through the veins of the world. That blood that feeds on meat and covers itself with animal skin. They say music cures, that it takes away our pain, that it saves lives and helps us remember those moments we are about to forget. Music carries with her everything she's lived in the past, and with every millisecond, she tells us something new. We are everything that sounds, and our contribution is infinite, like the sound of silence. I left the Siberian cold in Kizil to head towards the Tchaikovsky Conservatory in Moscow. My journey to make a song about war was about to begin. Before reaching the Caucasus, I went to work with 73 musicians from the Moscow Symphony Orchestra. I came here because Russia has been part of many of the conflicts in the Caucasus. I asked for a musical arrangement related to the conflicts of the war in Caucasus. I worked with very talented musicians and arrangers. Although I initially sought to do something epic, I decided to go in a different direction. I felt like I needed to be closer. I needed to make something more personal, with less people involved. This whole area has been in conflict even before the Soviet Union dissolved. The best way to write a song about war is directly from the conflict zone. I headed to the Caucasus region. About 5% of my blood was born in war fields: Ossetia, Georgia, and Armenia. First, I traveled to Ossetia. Here, people can tell you everything just by the look in their eyes.
Я сын войны. Я Алан. Я ген G2. Я история. Я память поражений и побед, но я больше, намного больше. Я больше, чем мои традиции. Я больше, чем мое прошлое. Я настоящее, где все хаос. Рене сейчас здесь.
I want to explain you something. The song is about how bad war it is. So with that energy, you sing. But you have it already. But I just want you to have it in the head. They say history is told by the winners. That's why I came here, to listen to those who lose. On September 3, 2004, a school in Beslan in North Ossetia was attacked by terrorists. Over 370 people died, among them 171 children.
Вот здесь на площадке мы стояли, вдруг шум. И я оглянулась, увидела, что вот вся вот эта масса народу, это 1000 с лишним человек, все бегут вот в сторону спортивного зала. Он сейчас закрыт куполом. Вот здесь все это случилось.
Your children, where are they?
Вот они.
Here?
Да. Тогда взорвалась первая мина вот под этим окном. Боречка и Вера были убиты этим. У меня Борик начал шевелить руками. Ну, и Анечка за спиной тоже. Здесь всюду лежали тела.
Muy fuerte, ahora que tener un hijo y haber visto todas las fotos y ver esto, te das cuenta que uno pierde tanto tiempo siendo ser humano, a veces en estupideces.
Сейчас много говорят по поводу того, что вот кто они были там, да и тогда разговоров было, что чеченцы, там ингуши, еще кто-то. У таких бандитов нет ни национальности, ничего. Потом стали говорить, что вот это мусульмане сделали. Это не мусульмане. Это люди, которые прикрываются исламом. На самом деле об исламе не имеют ни малейшего понятия.
Chechen and Islamist militant Shamil Vasayev had claimed responsibility for the attack on the school in Beslan. That's why we are in Pankisi now, a region of Georgia where the majority of the population is of Chechen origin. This valley has been accused of being a factory of ISIS militants. But what I found were families consumed by pain, fighting for world peace in the name of God, and their only weapon is singing.
قش دقيدو سجمخك أحييت وام سندان دقش دنيد ما شر خلات وام تخلات عودك كتير.
توبلي توبيتا كوبيدو از بكاتي ما صنع عينش بيرش توديش خلنا خبابيش خل بيما ديت ميغاني بيتي او كانستادي اوه بارسكيو چوني بيكري بيت ميچيتشي رو ჩვენ სოფლიოში იყო.
Here in Pankisi, not all immigrants are from Chechnya. There are also refugees from South Ossetia. "5% of my DNA told me I had to reach South Ossetia to try to understand its war with Georgia, two brother countries tearing each other's skin. Their hate comes from not listening to each other and from not knowing each other."
И в 10 часов начали в подвале, спустились в подвал. Там мы здесь просидели 2 дня вечера. 2 дня и 2 ночи. Спрятались от пули, от всего. Уши даже вот так держали, что наши уши, вот такой страх, и вот дрожал весь корпус. Если вот сзади посмотрите, там наверху еще есть эти большие дырки. Потому что в эту ночь уже сказали, что грузины окружили город. Когда они зашли в город, конечно, они не смотрели ребенок, женщина, или всех расстреляли, кого встречались.
Thanks to her grandmother, Victoria was able to flee the war in South Ossetia and save her life. In spite of all these wars, the Caucasus lungs still breathe. You don't need facts, numbers, or dates to talk about the Alans. The Alans are ancient warriors, defenders of the place that gave them life. They died for their children and their children's children. My blood comes from Alania, and every time I'm afraid I listen to these drums. I was in the northern Caucasus. Now it's time to head south. It was time to go to the birthplace of a genocide not recognized by countries like Spain, the United States, Israel, and the United Kingdom. I'm going to the country where 1.5 million human beings were exterminated by the Turks, Armenia. And here in Armenia, a war had just started.
Փորձմենորից քնեի, լսեցի, որ հայիկս, մայիկիս ասաց, որ մեզ քնից հանի, հակնում ենք, իջնենք նկող։ Հետո որ նստած սպասում էինք, ու նայում ենք, թե ինչպես են գյուղի վրա արկեր են քնում։ Հետո նայեցինք, տեսանք, որ գյուղից որոշ մարդիկ քնում են, հոպարս եկավ, մեզ վերցրեց, շարժվեցինք, հասանք Մադաղես, տեսանք, որ Մադաղեսի ճամփի վրա, զորամասի ճամփի մոտ խփում էին։ Գա, հետո պապային էինք սպասում, պապան չէր ուզում գյուղից դուրս գար, հետո որ բոլոր դուրս եկան, ինքն էլ մի հատ մեքենայով դուրս եկան։ Հետո ինչքան մեջ կարացավ անից, որ նորից գնացել է, որ գյուղը ինչով կարա օգնի։
Yeah, I feel, if I was him, I feel the same with my dad doing that. They say that war doesn't laugh, that it doesn't cry and knows no fear. They say that war doesn't feel. That's why it never wins, because in war everyone loses. War is not only bullets and explosions. War is also that silence that makes noise. It's the dry coffee on the floor. It's the dream's nightmare. The breakfast left behind. War is a house without windows. War is those moments when we expect anything and everything because we are used to nothing.
Մեկ երկու բառ ասեմ մեր հակառակորդի պահով։ Ժամը 2-ից կես քնած երեխաների վրեն 5-6 հազար հատ արկ գցելով 25 տարվա ընթացքում այդ գյուղը երկու անգամ դարձել է մեր իսկ հակառակորդի ճիրախը, վախեցնելով, կոտրելով մեր հոգին, բայց դա իրանց մոտ չհաջողվեց։ Ադրբեջանցիների համար սա զուտ հող է, իսկ մեր համար պատմական հայրենիք։ Եվ պայքար կտանենք մինչ վերջին կաթիլարունը եւ կհասնենք իսկ մեր հիմնական նպատակին։ Ղարաբաղյան այս կնճռոտ հարցի բանալին վերջնականապես մենք կտեսնենք, իհարկե պայքարի իսկ միջոցով։
I arrived in Tbilisi, Georgia, a country full of scars caused by war. This country has gone through more than 200 wars in its history. Its last battles have been against Ossetia, Abkhazia, and Russia. We fight a war before birth. There is a pitched battle within our body for the formation of every organ. The strong cells eat the weak ones. We are organisms made out of war. I have kids from Ossetia, drums from Ossetia. I have the panduri from Georgia. I have you from Chechnya, but also from Georgia. Like I have all the people that had conflict on the song. When I start researching about this area, Georgia and all the Caucasus, I found out that there is a history of war. So that's why I'm talking about war. That part is the one that we need to punch. Yo te miro y mi rabia te toca cuando grito sin usar la boca y mi furia se come a la gente porque muerde aunque no tenga dientes. El dolor no me causa problemas, hoy los dolores recitan poemas. El mundo me lo como sin plato, el miedo a mí me limpia los zapatos. El fuego lo derretió y las pesadillas no duermen porque piensan en mí. Hoy puedo ver lo que el otro no vio y los pongo a rezar aunque no crean en Dios. Hoy las lágrimas lloran antes de morir y a los libros de historia los pongo a escribir. Que le tiemblen las piernas al planeta Tierra. Hoy yo vine a ganar y estoy hecho de guerra. 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 my lyrics. The path taken writes them for me. The genetic map that unites us all is our pentagram. And the only way to feel it honestly is by feeling what others feel. I went to China. Approximately 22% of the world's population lives here.
人类来到了这里，给我们讲述了一个传奇，一个属于我们这个时代的传奇。这个故事是从小的事情开始说起的，关于那些小蚂蚱们的梦想。而整个冷醒来的时候，这个故事就会成为一个传奇。
Before my blood crossed the Bering Strait, it left China's womb. My 6% of Native American Indian ancestry comes from this region. I made it to Beijing to fuse my rhymes with the Qing dynasty's favorite opera, the Peking Opera, but it turned out to be more complicated than I thought. Here I was reading that all the legends, they talk about dragons and huge things. And I wanted to do the opposite, like how small things can be that too. But it's about a grasshopper that wants to be a dragon. And sometimes a lot of small things rolled together become a dragon. We're gonna apply the opera style to this. This is not opera. They know, right? It's not opera. It's different. Explaining something that might have taken a few seconds in my language took me over an hour here.
我想要抵达地球的另一边。金白，韵白，这是韵白，
韵白。
哎，现在下面这个是金白，金白就是汉语中。
There were too many people talking at the same time, and in Chinese, what I needed was a melody that was sung, not spoken.
我想要抵达地球的另一边。
That's the singing? Okay, they don't sing with notes like they throw like regular, like a melody?
If they're going to sing in by that way,
that's the style. No, but they can also, because I want both. I like that, and also if I can have like a melody, it's good. It's good too. Like here. If they can sing.
按朝中地球中心挖了故活动。
还有啊，因为他现在不熟定第一，另外回去他要。
See, like you did like a melody at first. She did. Without noticing it, I was pushing them to break with the classical structure of the opera to come up with a melody. It was uncomfortable for them. Can we just have like the melodies that she was doing without any words? I just want you to explain her that I really like both, like the acting part and what they're saying, like with the words, but also I want this. No words, just like... just like the singing. We're gonna And suddenly, she sang. Words weren't necessary because no matter what language we speak, music unites us all. She thinks that someone is in front of her and want to whisper in the ear. So yeah, whisper, but the same thing. That's what the Peking opera sounds like when fused with another sensitivity, sung from a different place.
京剧其实也是在与时俱进的一门艺术，而且我觉得中国的传统文化就是很博大精深，因为我们在舞台上会包括演唱，包括表演，然后再包括舞蹈动作，这些都是结合在一起的一门综合类型的艺术。
Musical instruments like the jinghu, the guzheng, and the jingeru merge with the West.
Well, I really like the mixed things. Some rap with some Chinese opera. It's also a way to make the Chinese opera more popular, to be international. I like really this way to do that.
And just like in rap music, reciting is fundamental in the Peking opera.
Ya no importa lo que es grande, ahora es pequeño. Aquí la realidad es más poderosa que los sueños. A la fantasía del mundo la volvimos loca sin que tuviéramos que botar fuego por la boca. Así que baja del cielo y aterriza en cualquier lote. Una sombrilla de papel de aceite hará que flotes, mientras que una montaña de viento nos moja con aroma de té verde que soplan las hojas. El agua del Pacífico penetra por la orilla de un río que corre con la piel amarilla. Los capullos de oruga se desenredan y tejen con su hilo universos de seda. Cuando nos tocamos el terreno se humedece dentro de tu vientre. El arroz que se cultiva crece durante el día. Todo el bosque suena y los grillos cantan porque la cosecha es buena.
In this small town called Erjuan, south of Yunnan, they sing to us in Pai, the original language of this ethnic minority. In Yunnan, rice rains down every day and falls already planted on the terraces of the Hani. Here, culture is preserved through teamwork because the past continues to live in the present, because what is found cannot be lost, because what is learned is not forgotten. But not everything is like this in China, even less at Mona Lisa Studios. Thousands of Chinese come to these studios to take pictures before getting married. The idea here is not to preserve, but to escape that cultural preservation. A honeymoon around the globe without having to travel. Here they became what they wanted, and not what history told them they had to be.
喜欢呢，首先，赫本也是我们中国人心目中的女神，然后也想，重温一下电影里面的那些情节，然后那些感觉。
It's like leaving one reality to enter another, the reality of becoming what you haven't been able to become.
就是有做王子的那种感觉。
It's difficult to become something extraordinary when you've always been something ordinary. In China, grasshoppers are extraordinary. But in this land of the giant dragons, the grasshoppers face the dragons. Leaping over all the dynasties, they accelerated the growth of a strong culture that took time to grow. Things like this must happen in order to bring real changes to such a strong culture. This is what adjusts the final mix. And the more bizarre the mixture is, the better. Here, the grasshoppers tried their best to spit fire through their mouths. They felt like dragons even if they were not.
其实说到赵成和佳琪的爱情故事，要从2013年4月份开始说起。两个人认识是在他们公司，在同一家公司认识。那个时候呢，新郎赵成就每天对新娘爱护得非常的好。主要这样的细心的爱，才有了今天一对新人的喜结连理。
Anyone would want to be a prince in Beijing, at least for a day. They say that breathing the air in Beijing on a bad day is equivalent to smoking 40 cigarettes. Lung cancer soared just as the Chinese economy became the fastest growing worldwide. Here you can clearly see that inhuman exchange of health for economic growth. Because of Beijing's pollution situation, I started to write an apocalyptic song. That's when I started going around Chinese bars, looking for a voice to sing my lyrics. In a small bar, I found Duan Jiawen.
下车的时候觉得那个不是我想象中的样子，觉得也就那样。我上大学的时候就已经出来驻唱了，然后那个因为当时是抱着一种好玩、好奇的心情。 完了，我就去找，就是挨家挨户问那种，然后就问需要歌手吗那种。然后我记得有一家我在那唱，他给我唱了一晚上，他给我40块钱。然后我问他为什么给我40块钱，他说你唱那样也就40块钱吗？ 毕业到现在，我是12年毕业的，然后毕业到现在就一直在酒吧唱歌。
I knew I had found the perfect voice. I only needed to translate my lyrics into Chinese and build a melody. But the only way for me to create a melody in Chinese was to divide the words phonetically into syllables.
And we have to find how she's gonna say the sentence. That's what we're gonna do now. I wanna listen to the words.
当树木只吐出废气。
当树木只吐出废气。
当海洋被自己淹没。
来，当海洋被自己淹没。Yeah, we have one. Let's go to the next one.
云彩重重摔落地面。
Jump. Okay. Jump. 转到地面，转地面，人甩转。So now I want to hear the fifth sentence.
世界末日，我们人在这里。世界末日，我们人在这里。
世界末日， sorry. Sorry.
海洋被自己淹没，云彩重重摔落地面。当太阳把自己灼伤，当太阳把自己灼伤，当树木只吐出废气，当树木只吐出废气，世界末日我们仍在这里。世界末日我们仍在，世界末日我们仍在，世界末日我们仍在，世界末日我们仍在，仍在，仍在。
I already had the perfect voice for this track, but I needed something more to make me feel like I was in the middle of the apocalypse. So I made it to Barcelona, chasing a particular pipe organ in the Palau de la Música. The sound was beautiful. I knew it was close, but it was lacking something. I was looking for a specific sound, and since I'm so impulsive, I decided to go to London, to the Temple Church. I went there to record with Roger Sayer, former collaborator of Hans Zimmer.
Then this will be, this will work. This is good. And then the ending here is quite, suddenly goes crazy.
Yeah.
And accelerando means getting faster.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is just going mad at this point. And then the very last 4 bars is slow, very loud, and crazy.
Yeah.
And
it's like the end of the world.
Well, that's what it'll sound like.
Yeah.
I think her voice and that part is like you are in all this mess and then you're able to, like in the hook, you're able to go outside and then you go inside again.
So it's like a dream and then you're in reality again.
Yeah.
The track was done, and I felt like I could go on to my next destination. I went to the place where we all come from, the birthplace of human evolution, the continent ravaged by Europe, Africa. Burkina Faso, land of those who walk straight. In 2014, the whole country hit the streets to protest the re-election of their former president, Blaise Compaoré. Blaise was in power for 27 years and with France's aid had dismissed his friend and former president Thomas Sankara. Thomas Sankara was murdered, but his country didn't forget.
Aquí en África, cuando se habla de Sankara, todo el mundo sabe quién es. El Che Guevara de África. Por eso fue asesinado. Era una de la nueva generación. Enfrentó el imperialismo para decirle que África necesita su independencia total.
Notre pays produit suffisamment de quoi nous nourrir. Nous pouvons dépasser même notre production.
On a l'or, on a les diamants, on a les pétrole, on a tout. Mais malheureusement, c'est mal géré. Thomas Sankara, c'est le père de la révolution du Burkina Faso. Sinon, avant, le Burkina s'appelait Haute-Volta. Il a dit, bon, on va changer le nom du pays, Burkina Faso. C'est deux diadètes. Burkina, c'est en Moré. Faso, c'est en Dioula. La terre des hommes intègres. L'homme qui pardonne, l'homme qui écoute et l'homme qui ne se laisse pas pétiner.
Humanity began in Africa, and 10% of my blood comes from this continent. I came to Burkina Faso to meet Bombino, a Tuareg musician from the Niger desert. There, I wrote about the lies of the light and the truth within the shadows.
When we are shadows, we are the same because we don't have face and we don't have race, we don't have color.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
This is not a melody, this is just the chords. Yeah.
Le projet était commencé avec René. Ça va partir sur le sens qu'on a, sur la route qu'on a, c'est-à-dire l'envie d'aller changer, l'envie de donner, l'envie d'aller écouter l'autre et l'envie aussi d'échanger avec l'autre. René, pour moi, c'est vraiment une autre, c'est comme s'il partait à une autre école.
Yeah, I would like to start recording like some of the ideas because then we forgot.
L'idée de l'artiste, c'est plutôt d'abord, c'est d'avoir aidé à ces peuples-là de se conserver, même si elle n'a pas de frontières, plusieurs. La guitare était quelque chose qui a défendu toujours les causes perdues, par exemple. Les Touaregs utilisent la guitare pour mieux se défendre, pour mieux s'expliquer, pour mieux dire sa culture, pour mieux dire ses problèmes.
Good. Yeah, it's good. We have the intro. Yeah, maybe we can do like cran 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 cran. Yeah, that's good.
Je sais qu'il a plein d'expériences. Moi qui viens du désert, bien sûr, je n'ai pas certaines expériences, mais pour moi, c'est comme si je présente un autre dossier et on m'accorde un cachet qui me dit valide.
Okay, save that one, and then we're gonna do the same thing, but changing the note at the end.
La sombra trabaja a tiempo completo, es esclava de todos los objetos, siempre hace lo que se le ordene, la llama el amo y ella viene pasa para nosotros. Y el crédito se lo lleva otro. No es dueña de lo que compone. Cocina pero no come. Tiene el estómago vacío. Por eso su futuro es sombrío. No ven cómo se desintegra, porque la sangre de la sombra es negra. A los abusadores les quiero ver la cara cuando se levante de la tumba Sankara. La luz quiere quitarle el control, por eso en África es donde pega más el sol.
Bombino was born in the poorest country in the world, Niger. However, one of the 3 bulbs in France are powered by uranium from this country. In 2007, Bombino emigrated to Burkina Faso with his guitar because the government had censored all Tuareg acts, including music.
Une grande partie du Niger, c'était au nord, c'est là où il y a le désert, c'était là où il y avait tous les nomades, c'était là où il y avait tous les Touaregs. Partout il y a là où il y a certains peuples, mais d'origine Touareg qui ne parlent pas Touareg. C'est quoi terroriste? Pour moi, c'est un mot qui n'existe même pas normalement dans le dialogue déjà. Bref, pourquoi les terroristes sont venus? Parce qu'il y a tellement un degré de pauvreté. Les peuples, ils ont besoin d'aller travailler, ils ont besoin d'aller pour chercher à manger. Peut-être c'est seulement ces terroristes qui te mettent certaines idéologies dans la tête.
Exactly 1 month after leaving Burkina Faso, just a few blocks from the hotel where I was staying, at 7:30 p.m., Al-Qaeda attacked, taking 176 hostages and killing 30. But here, they fight evil with good, and good is winning so far. Dagomba Kingdom in northeast Ghana, they're known for telling stories through music and poetry. I had to meet the chief of the village before being allowed to record music.
I'm René, I'm from Puerto Rico, so it's a pleasure to be here and an honor.
Dadamuna, amen yimil, u Canada, Ntilan Canadi, Yinang la Mabirguma.
Every country has its own culture. We have our own culture here, something that we can offer to the world. Music is the therapy. Music is a healer. Music unites a country. Music unites a continent. We don't need fight. We need music to heal the people, to create. We need music to make joy.
The ground became part of their feet. The drums were pumping their blood in their bodies, and the voice of Uruna Fari quenched our thirst.
It has stopped.
Ah.
Should I start again?
Yeah, no, continue.
Somos los dueños de nada, los que no aparecen en los cuentos de hadas. El palacio de los sueños lo hacemos con lodo. No tenemos nada, pero lo tenemos todo. Cuando te faltan cosas, te inventas algo. Si no hay caballo con una carretilla, cabalgo. No las ingeniamos desde la matriz, como los cangrejos que respiran sin tener nariz. Hacemos maravilla con lo que cae del cielo. Lo enfriamos en el fondo del río si no hay hielo. Y nos sentimos como los reyes de Castilla. Le sacamos brillo a lo que no brilla. Sin balas, preparado para la guerra. Aprendimos vamos a sembrar sin tierra, de calidad pero barato, como bailadores de academia, pero sin zapatos.
I went from the north of Ghana in Tamale to the south. Here, on the shores of Techie, Ghana, the Atlantic swallows the ocean front for breakfast every day. Here, we practice the art of learning from the wind, using it in our favor. Here, the palette is full of primary colors, so as to enliven the coffins that bid us farewell, and the days that welcome us. I've come here to learn from the art of Niornuofi Agrosor, a key figure in Ghanaian educational art.
I teach my kids a lot. I track them every day so that to keep them academically on some level. And because of that, it has have so much influence on my work. I use the blackboard because basically everybody sees the blackboard and they know there is a message out there. I question our education system because our knowledge system has been taken away from us. What we are learning in school as Africans does not any bit depict who we are as Africans. But because our religion has been disbased, our language is taken from us, our culture is no more ours, everything about you is not you, then it's questionable. We are always dwelling on hope. But I'm saying this hope will never come if you don't do the right thing. Vodou teaches us our do's and don'ts. Hear message from above, our past fathers, mothers, our ancestors. A freedom nation, no control, nothing. It's so peaceful. Now, if something is filled with this peacefulness and you tag it as a wrong thing, it means you are preventing the people from realizing something which will set them free. Therefore, only keep you in control. We should wake up as Africans. When I sing, I talk a lot about spirituality. How we see the universe spiritually, how it's supposed to manifest physically. That will make my fellow Africans realize that this is who we are. This is what we are not doing right. This is what we have to do.
I am the father of a child about whom I dreamed long before he was born. They say that when you become a father, you dream twice as much as you used to dream. I came here to set that dream to music. Maybe longer notes, but you know, yeah. Things like that. And then it's gonna evolve. Everything is a crescendo at the end. And then the baby's coming out, and then it's out, and it's like a welcome thing. So you have to welcome him with happiness. Everything is, it's flowers, it's the grasshopper, is the bees, is the cows, is the sun, is everything, the river. So you have to feel that at the end, you know. Like we're talking about all of that
with your flute.
Okay.
Like you're singing and you don't want him to wake up, the baby, but it's sleeping. I had a dream about my son, and that's why I'm doing the song. And I just recorded a melody. It's very simple. We can try that, and then we can try like new ones.
Once, I dreamed I was in a desert, surrounded by the choruses of a welcoming ritual. In that dream, I could see these people digging a hole and how they submerged their arms in it. I could also see how they slowly pull out the arms and legs of a small body wrapped in a ball of clay. I used those choruses to create a song for my son. And that's how I learned to be there, that place where we all come from. We sweat under the same heat, we keep warm under the same cold, and we walk thanks to the rituals of the rain that nourishes us. We are united by what wakes us up in the morning, the same thing that unites us, helps us face each day. We fight because we know there is something stronger than war, something more powerful than pain, something more powerful than death. Life.
You want me to put the beat on loop for you?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Cool.
Primo, tú y yo descendimos de Gilberto Concepción de Gracia, fundador del Partido Independentista de Puerto Rico, abogado de Pedro Albizu Campos en Nueva York.
Now check it. A little blood, a sample of saliva. Send it to the lab and get it back and see them try to declassify a deoxyribonucleic acid just from one fiber. Scientists can separate a strand, tell you in percentages, descendants easy long to understand. Send you to lands of ice, dirt, and sand, a map of the world in the lines of your hand, and you'll find what you planned isn't quite what you get. You will cry in the rubble with children you bet to remind you to struggle and strive. But the trouble with life is that life isn't done with you yet, and yet you will make music, make something new from the rhythms and the views it affords it beyond the images in the news. If you can produce it, your dreams are lucid when you spit. Keep the horizon siempre pa'l frente. Open our eyes, let your rhymes be the puente. Cambia este mundo profundamente as a global artist in residence.
Puerto Rico. They invaded us through these beaches. We have been a colony since 1505. The Spaniards took our gold and soon after exterminated most of the Indians living on the island. Upon running out of indigenous workforce, they began importing black people from Africa. It was then when our DNA was enriched, and with the mix of Taino, African, and European, our Puerto Rican race was born. At the same time, we became one of the world's largest sugar producers. But everything changed in 1898. United States General Nelson A. Miles had no trouble landing on the island. In the end, what he brought was a military government. Joseph B. Foraker introduced the Foraker Law to allegedly give us more freedom, but instead, he ratified our colonial status. They imposed so many regulations under this law that our national sugarcane industry was lost. What used to belong to us was theirs. Then, William Jones created the Jones Act, the one that made us believe that we were making decisions, when in fact, we couldn't even elect our own governor. Our situation was humiliating. People like Dr. Cornelius P. Rhodes are an example of the treatment we received at the time from the Americans that set foot on our land. This is a letter written by Dr. Rhodes in 1931.
The Puerto Ricans, beyond doubt the dirtiest, laziest, most degenerate and thievish race of men ever inhabiting this sphere. It makes you sick to inhabit the same island with them. They are even lower than Italians. What the island needs is not public health work, but a tidal wave or something to totally exterminate the population. It might then be livable. I've done my best to further the process of extermination by killing off fate and transplanting cancer into several more.
After this letter, Dr. Rhodes made the cover of Time magazine as a tireless fighter against cancer. 1937 was the year of the Ponce Massacre, where the United States Colonial Police murdered 19 demonstrators, among them a child, and injured 100 people. We became the laboratory for a range of experiments in population control. Nationalist leader Pedro Albizu Campos was exposed to radiation poisoning and died from it years later. They installed a number of military bases in Puerto Rico. We suffer from the Stockholm Syndrome. This is how a colony is created.
¿Por qué creen en la estadía?
La igualdad de derechos, entre tres alternativas generales, o la independencia, o la colonia, o la estadidad. Solamente, ¿verdad? La colonia es la que te limita de todos esos poderes. Para mí, ¿verdad? Lo que sea una opción de independencia o la estadía son opciones dignas que nos permiten participar de tú a los niveles más altos de nuestro gobierno y poder tener un poder en lo que es la toma de decisiones. La colonia no nos permite eso, es indigno.
Estamos listos para gobernar y que desde ahora comienzo el proceso de la transición hacia la estabilidad.
¿Por qué crees que en Puerto Rico hay mártires del movimiento independentista? Sin embargo, no conocemos de un anexionista puertorriqueño que haya muerto por defender la estadía.
Bueno, yo lo sé, hay muchos puertorriqueños, por ejemplo, y hay caras específicas de mártires, ¿verdad? O sea, Pedro Albizu Campos, pero a veces...
¿Qué piensas de él? Eso era otra de las preguntas que tú crees de él. ¿Cómo?
Bueno, yo creo que era una persona que luchó por lo que creía. Obviamente
por lo mismo que...
No por lo mismo que yo creo, creemos en cosas diferentes. Yo no, ¿verdad? Creo en la lucha armada. Tampoco. Pero...
Estados Unidos cree en la lucha armada.
Sí, bueno, pero
Not only do they believe in armed conflict, but they have also been the only ones to launch nuclear bombs in the history of mankind.
Venimos de una islita del Caribe, la colonia más antigua que existe, casi desconocida por el resto del mundo. La gente de afuera no sabe nada sobre nuestra historia. La gente de adentro la conoce a media. De esta isla en donde ondean dos banderas, la nuestra y la del colonizador, es que viene René. Aquí es donde termina su viaje, donde concluye la búsqueda de su ADN. Aquí, donde las ranas más pequeñas cantan la historia de la ciudad y la montaña. Aquí, donde las paredes de Ponce, Jayuya, Río Piedra llevan la sangre de los mártires que dieron la vida por este pedacito de tierra. Somos bravos como la lava que formó esta isla.
I arrived in Jayuya, a town of courageous people who rebelled against the government. Courageous because only 32 people fought an entire army. I came here to meet Heriberto Marin, one of the 3 remaining survivors. The supreme nationalist leader of Puerto Rico, Don Pedro Albizu Campos, the one that the United States government exposed to radiation in order to murder, stayed in this house.
Don Pedro cuando vino a vivir aquí, este era su cuarto.
In 1948, it was illegal to possess the Puerto Rican flag, and you could face 5 to 10 years in prison for having one. The owner of this house is Blanca Canales, one of the leaders and fighters for the independence of the country. In this basement, they met to coordinate the 1950 revolt, one that almost nobody knows about, not even Puerto Ricans, the only Puerto Rican revolt against the United States.
Cuando se presenta en las Naciones Unidas, Estados Unidos presenta de que no iba a informar más sobre Puerto Rico, porque Puerto Rico estaba en proceso de definir su estatus político, era el Estado Libre Asociado, y tener su propia constitución. Y ahí es que don Pedro empieza más profundamente a organizar la revolución.
Es la hora nuestra. Se han tropezado con la fuerza del espíritu. Y van a tropezar también con toda la fuerza que la fuerza del espíritu puede generar.
A nationalist uprising in American Puerto Rico in the West Indies is linked with the attempt on President Truman's life. In armed clashes in Puerto Rico, 23 are killed, 15 of them policemen. Trouble broke out when agitators launched attacks on the governor's palace, police stations, and other public buildings.
El propósito era tomar el cuartel de la policía de Jayuya, que la policía se rindiera, entregara las armas y ahí salir para Utuado. Dentro de la dirección del Partido Nacionalista había una persona que era un informante. El primer grupo que sale de Peñuelas, la policía lo está esperando y allí muerto. El otro grupo que salía de Ponce los intercepta la policía y ahí hay muertos también. En Arecibo mueren 4 policías, un nacionalista. La Guardia Nacional había entrado a Utuado. Luego que se rinden un grupo de jóvenes, los ponen en una pared y los fusilan.
¿Y tú estabas armado también en ese tiempo?
Yo lo que tenía era una escopeta vacía. La Guardia Nacional no se atrevía a entrar a Jayuya porque la prensa decía que en Jayuya había 600 nacionalistas, 300 estaban patrullando las calles de Jayuya, armados, como decían, hasta los dientes, y 300 en las montañas.
Y eran 30 con pistolas sin balas.
Y éramos 32.
Y algunos 32.
Yo con una escopeta sin munición, sin cartucho, imagínate.
Heriberto Marin was arrested and sentenced to 145 years in prison. There are Puerto Ricans who fight and Puerto Ricans who don't, just as there are both domesticated and fighting roosters. Puerto Rican fighters are like fighting roosters.
Buenas tardes, estamos aquí en la gallera Somante de Ahí Bonito, celebrando el 60 aniversario de su fundación y contamos con 32 peleas. Bienvenidos sean. Muy bien, haz dulce. Vamos. Vamos,
Fighting roosters consider as rivals all those who encroach upon their territory.
Apatilla, Miguelón, que está representando a Valenciano, nuestro amigo Forti. Ahí lo castigo abajo, el 10-2, tiene que tirar. Los abuelos míos decían antes que siempre habían bancas que tenían unos gallos que los llamaban de diferentes formas por unas cualidades que tenían, ¿ves? Gallos agresivos, picadores y espuelosos. y gallos fuertes, que son pocos los que tienen todas esas cualidades. Espueloso es que tiran y rápido hieren al otro, al contrario. O sea, que aprovechan sus tiros. Cada gallero tiene su sistema. Tienen un mismo fin, pero a veces entrenan de diferentes formas. Eso tú le preguntas a tus abuelos, los abuelos te dicen que le preguntaron a los que jugaban los abuelos de ellos. ¿Sabes? Esto ya es una descendencia, eso es cultura. O eso viene de monte adentro, como dice uno. Sí, varón. Ahí lo castigo abajo. El viendo, tiene que tirar. Pierde, sigue la pelea. Gallos se encuentran en el monte, en su natural vivir. Y si tú invades el terreno de otro, tienen que pelear para dictaminar que esta es mi zona, ¿entiendes? Pelean por instinto. Tiran y rápido hieren al otro, al contrario. O sea, que aprovechan sus tiros. Se mantienen en pelea. 48, pierde 45.
Bulls might have horns, but our fighting roosters have spurs.
Police hurry to America's House of Representatives in Washington following an attack by 3 Puerto Ricans, including Rafael Miranda, who fired on the senators in the chamber. Fellow gunman Andres Condero and the woman member of the trio Lolita Lebron are hustled away from the menacing crowd. Firing more than 20 rounds from their Luger automatics, the 3 fanatics seriously wounded 5 senators.
In the 1950s, the fight continued to prove to the United Nations what the United States was hiding, the reality of Puerto Rico being a colony.
Don Pedro decía que la estadidad es la culminación del coloniaje. Es entregar totalmente la patria y entregar tus hijos a las guerritas de ellos para que sigan muriendo. Esta es tu vergüenza. Te humillan. Ahora mismo resulta que nos han estado humillando por 62 años más, desde el 118, pero con esto del Estado Libre Asociado, que nos cogieron, no a nosotros, pero nos usaron de idiotas. ¿Y dónde está tu vergüenza que todavía hablas de ser parte de ellos cuando tú sabes, no es cuestión ni de política económica? ¿Dónde está tu vergüenza que alguien te humilla, te den la cara y tú te vas a jodillar ante ellos? No que lo justifique, entender algo no es justificarlo. Yo fui hijo nacionalista de puertorriqueños de orgullo. O sea, uno tiene, yo entiendo a este José yo, porque hijo de su padre, se cría con su padre. Es más, para mí es más importante alguien que se convierte independentista viniendo de un hogar PNP que uno que nació en... Yo nací.
Se puede luchar por la independencia de afuera del país.
Aunque nazcas en las entrañas del monstruo, sigue siendo puertorriqueño.
In the end, we are all Puerto Ricans, and what happens on our island hurts us all. Our political differences don't erase the fact that we are a colony. From being world leaders in the sugar industry, we ended up with nothing because the only thing that is ours is the sense of pride some of us still have.
Yo me levanto a las 4 de la mañana, todos los 7 días, a trabajar, a veces estoy hasta las 6, a veces estoy hasta las 7. Me gusta trabajar en la tierra, me gusta la agricultura. La juina de la central fue, por supuesto. Desde 13, 14 años yo trabajaba regando semillas. Ya estaba decayendo, pero todavía había mucho trabajo en la caña. Ya había cambiado de mano de obra personal a maquinaria. Era más eficiente el corte a mano. El rendimiento era mejor, la caña iba limpia. Entre más abajo se corte, mejor retolla. ¿Ves? Esta es la caña, se corta aquí. Esta va para semillas. Ponla aquí, Moche, vamos a regarla entre los dos. Ponla ahí. Esta es la semilla de caña. Se va tirando ahí en el surco. ¿Ves? Después se viene atrás con una máquina y uno la va para taparla. Se pica por el medio, porque por aquí que ella retolla. Yo tenía 1800 cuerdas. Se Después en el 2002, 2003, se cejó todo. Yo me quedé con 410 cuerdas, sembré plátano, compré ganado y me estuve manteniendo con el ganado hasta agosto del año pasado, que se me ocurrió empezar a vender guarapos de caña. Eso no es más que el jugo de la caña. Ok, vamos a preparar esa cañita. Si no se le saca ese tizne, ¿ves? Se sale en el vaso allá. Vamos allá. Este es el trapiche, ¿ves? Solamente por ese hueco. ¿Ves? Sale por allá y el jugo sale por ahí. Mira qué clarito sale. ¿Saben ustedes que todas esas cañas que hay sembradas en Venezuela, en la Florida, afuera, en Luisiana, la semilla salió de Puerto Rico? Y si salió de Puerto Rico, ¿por qué entonces Puerto Rico no está sembrando caña?
Guarapo is an ancient beverage that will quench the thirst of our jíbaros working the land. We've endured over 100 years of colonization without losing our accent. That's why I know that even if we have to start again from nothing, we're gonna move our country forward. I went to Jayuya to write, with our entire history in my heart and rhymes in my head. I began to write about what unites us rather than what divides us. I wanted to write a song with Jíbaro influences, selecting particular details that interested me. I wanted to say a lot with very little because sometimes less is more.
El verso plenalamento bien simplificado, el bridge en el holandés como está, el coro holandés full.
Okay.
Cuando vienes al bridge antes del Zika, meterle la plenalamento full. Y uno más largo, que dure el doble.
Si no me equivoco, eso fue el primero que yo hice.
Hace...
El 4 era un instrumento mucho más pequeño, de cuerdas sencillas. En su evolución dobló las cuerdas, de 4 a 4 cuerdas dobles. Y ya para 1875 existe el 4 de 5 cuerdas dobles.
Ya después de ese último coro arranca pam pam y ahí va creciendo.
Desde que nacimos, nuestra mancha de plátano salió del mismo racimo. Somos hermanos del mismo horizonte, todos nos criamos en la falda del monte. Crecimos pero pa' que otro se aproveche. Somos un pueblo con dientes de leche, los hijos del trabajo sin merienda. La limonada para el capataz de la hacienda, todo lo que sobrevive. Somos la caña fermentada del Caribe. Pero aunque la historia nos azota, somos como una botella de vidrio que flota. La central Aguirre la pusimos a producir, sin saber leer ni escribir. Y la depresión la curamos sin jarabe, porque caminamos al compás de la clave. Nuestra raza por naturaleza es brava, salimos de la tapa de un volcán con lava. No hay identidad, dicen algunos, pero aquí todos llevamos en la espalda el número 21. Aprendimos a caminar hace rato, con un pie descalzo y el otro con zapato, con la medalla del cacique en la casa de empeño. Somos los dueños de un país sin dueño.
Hijos del cañaveral, nunca se nos cae la pava.
Esta raza siempre es brava, aunque sople el temporal, pa' que sientas el calibre de un caballo sin jinete. Mira cómo corre libre, se refleja en el machete.
As I said at the beginning, inside the greatest moments, we are all equally small. Even while feeling so small, we are capable of admiring with more precision the immensity of everything around us. We can work together as a team to weave something infinite. Today, the music industry priority is selling at all costs. The need to do something real and true is less important each day. Pop artists buy followers on social media to feel relevant. The radio only plays the music of those who pay to be played. Lip-syncing in live performances has become normal. More and more it seems as if the industry cares less and less about music. I find it difficult to believe in people who aren't a reflection of what affects them. I'm affected by everything that surrounds me. As an artist, I feel it's my duty to reflect it. That's why I collaborated with talented artists unknown to the music industry because they've been ignored for a long time. Artists who create music without expecting anything in return. Artists with whom I share my blood, just as they share their stories.